Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to a YouTube channel where you get to watch a man make questionable firearms purchases and throw himself into financial turmoil so you folks don't have to. That is, unless these firearms are worth purchasing. Today we're going to go over a firearm that would throw almost no one into financial turmoil, and the Heritage Rough Rider. Comes in at around $180 at literally anywhere. You can find them online. You can find them in Academy, if that place still sells guns, not sure. But they also come in a variety of different sizes, which is fun because they actually have a 16-inch barrel model of this firearm. They typically come chambered in 22 LR, like I said, 22 Magnum. And on their website for around $35, you could buy a 22 WMR cylinder, which would be cool. The Heritage Rough Rider was named after a group of badasses that most of you should know as long as you're American, and I assume most of you are. Theodore Roosevelt, a bunch of fucking big dicks, volunteering to fight in the Spanish-American War, and that's literally as fucking cool as it gets. So, aside from that, the Heritage Manufacturing Company was founded in 1992 by some dude in North America, along with the boys, and his wife, actually. The company would eventually sell to Taurus in around 2012. Not that that should affect your impression of this firearm at all, because as most Taurus and Rossi firearms are manufactured in literally the worst country around, Brazil, this one here, after the purchase, was still manufactured in the United States of America in entirety. In Miami, Florida, actually. So if you're a senior citizen and you're watching this, I don't doubt that you own at least one of these. And I also don't doubt that you live in Miami. So, yeah, it's very easy to understand. I'm going to go ahead and show you some features about this particular firearm and how it functions. I will show you that it's not loaded. Because I know that people love that. So, nothing. So, again, this is a 22 long rifle. This one in particular only has one good cylinder, so it's 22 long rifle. But changing the cylinder on this is super easy. Understanding these firearms is super easy. So, this particular firearm, the Heritage Rough Rider, has something that I find interesting on a single shot revolver is a thumb safety on the rear of the firearm. So to engage, or well, remove the safety, take it off of safe, you're going to pull that back and you'll see that red dot. And that means you're ready to fire. Very interesting to me, as I've shot a few single shot revolvers and I've rarely seen a safety here, and you can see how it actually disengages the hammer whenever you function that safety. Very neat. So anyway, if you bought this thing and you're questioning how the cylinder comes out and you don't understand that, it's not going to come out. This is a fixed cylinder firearm, and as I'll show you how to load it, you're going to push the loading gate to the right like I just did earlier, and listen to this. You're going to go 1, 2 clicks backwards on the hammer, and then this will rotate freely, at least to the right. And that's how you'll load it. You're just going to push your rounds in here, and then you'll close that. You'll pull it all the way back, remove the safety, and then pull the trigger. And some of these you don't want to dry fire because I believe the earlier models had a fixed frame, or a hammer mounted firing pin, so that could peen the cylinder if you dry fire something like that. This particular model does not have that. As you can see, there's the back of the firing pin, and that's how that functions. But I still don't recommend dry firing them in general. Kind of a dumb move. So again, firing, you're going to pull it all the way back, pull the trigger. To release that, if you've gotten to this point and you don't want to fire your gun, I don't know why you ever would and why you wouldn't want to fire your gun, because that's a good time. But what you're going to do is pull the hammer back first. Step 1, pull the trigger while keeping pressure on the hammer back here. Now you're going to slowly release that hammer forward, and it will not set off a rimfire cartridge. This one in particular has a 6-inch barrel, and I think that's pretty much standard around these guys. But they do have them in absurd lengths, such as 16 inches. And if you can imagine pulling up to the range with a single shot 22 that's 16 inches long from the cylinder to the end of the barrel, you would literally look hilarious. So for disassembly, oh, and unloading, actually, before I get too far. Again, once all your cases are spent, say you just got done firing 6 shots, right? Now you're gonna go 1, 2 clicks back, and then again, this thing's gonna rotate freely, right? And in order to push out those casings from your 22 rounds, you're going to use this ejection rod, and you're going to just push those on through. See what I mean? I'll show you from this angle. And that's how you're going to remove your spent shell casings. Just like that. Boom. And then you'll have to go one at a time. As far as disassembly goes, it's going to be another simple thing. Keep it at 2 clicks back. Now you're going to push this button here. You're going to pull the retainer rod from here. Right? You with me so far? And then you're going to literally just rotate this thing to the right, and it's going to pop right out. Now that makes this thing extra easy to clean because you're going to be running through the cylinder and running through the barrel with ease. And sometimes you want to clean up back here because mine's actually kind of junked up right now. Reassembly, just as easy. And I'm only making this look difficult because I want y'all to feel good whenever you try to record yourself doing this. You're going to line it back up. You're going to push that button again. And then you're going to take your rod and put it right back in. This is also how you're going to end up changing your cylinder if you have 2 cylinders like it comes with. So again, you spend $180 and you're going to get this 22 long rifle cylinder and a 22 Magnum cylinder. Well, that's honestly awesome. So my personal experience with these things, let me tell you, it's shooting a single action revolver. It's not going to be like shooting any of the other fun stuff that I like to shoot. But honestly, I do think that this thing is worth buying. I think it's a great gun. I think it's highly accurate, super easy to understand, and honestly might be my #1 recommendation for an introduction gun to anybody. Mostly because of your safety features, right? Like, that's useful for someone who has never fired a gun before. So that's point 1. Another one is that this is in 22 long rifle or 22 Magnum, neither of which are really going to intimidate someone who's shooting for the first time. The safety features are everything to me as far as that goes, because if you're shooting a semi-automatic pistol for the first time, there's potential for you to accidentally discharge a second round or anything, because new people don't know what to expect. They really don't. And if you don't walk them through it very slowly and carefully, then this is probably the best thing that you could be teaching them on, because regardless of whether or not they hit the trigger twice, it's only going to fire 1 shot. So single shot is the way to go. I honestly think these things are very much worth buying. I think everyone should have one, especially if you have kids or smaller frame folks or anything like that, or first-time shooters. This is the perfect gun for them, at least to learn on, maybe not to own. I don't recommend using this for self-defense, but as far as plinking and everything else goes, this is a quality gun. It's never failed me. I've had a couple of these, and they've never failed me. They're super easy to shoot. Again, you're looking at a notch back here and a front post. Super easy to understand. You're going to bury that post and put it where you want it. And these things are going to put them where you're wanting them to go. So I do recommend them. I believe they're worth buying. If you watch this whole thing, and if not, thanks either way. I appreciate your time. Hope you folks have a good one, and God bless Texas.